Call the Finance Committee meeting to order at 9:35. Would you please call the roll? Yeah, that would help me. Thank you.
Here. Gilbert. Here. Howell. Here. Charles.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Markham.
Here. Thank you. There's a couple of things that have been added and deleted from this, so just please refresh your screen before we get started. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the approval of the agenda. I need a motion. Commissioner Long, supported by Commissioner Cavell. All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Oh, Commissioner Charles. It is 2 items, yes. Okay. All right, so the agenda is set. Next up, we have public comment. This is public comment to the Finance Committee on anything on today's agenda. As I stated earlier, if you're here to address the full board, that meeting will start after this meeting is completed. So is there anybody who wishes to address the Finance Committee at this time? Seeing no one, I will close our first public comment and move into item number 5, which is Public Health and Safety Committee recommendations, item A, with the State of Michigan for the fiscal year 2023 Automobile Theft Prevention Authority ATPA grant. I need a motion. Commissioner Kowal, supported by Commissioner Long. Okay. I think that means Gay is here. Good morning. I know.
Good morning. So I know.
Yeah, just announce yourself.
Okay, Gay up here, Sheriff Fiscal Officer. So this is, first of all, we appreciate you having a special meeting because we just got notification of this on September 9th, so we couldn't get it to the last round of committee meetings. But this is our annual auto theft prevention grant. And it's the same. We're continuing 7 positions in the Sheriff's Office. It's a multi-jurisdictional task force, and we work with the City of Detroit as well. They have one of our employees in their grant, and we have one in their grant. They pay their match, and let's see, the total amount for the whole grant for all of us, including grant dollars and 50% match, is $2.2 million.
Okay, any discussion or questions from the commission? Seeing none, let's prompt the vote, please. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Next up, we have item 6, the departmental recommendations. Item 6A, the Pontiac Transportation Museum. I need a motion. Commissioner Charles, supported by Commissioner Cavell. Is there somebody going to speak to this? Commissioner Gershenson, do you want to speak to it?
We have representatives from the Pontiac Transportation Museum here. Would you like them to speak now or at the full meeting?
Either way, I guess.
Do you want to speak now?
No. Okay, if it passes, it'll be.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm speaking to the Pontiac Transportation Museum. My name is Doug Smith, and I'm a former Deputy County Executive for Economic Development here at Oakland County. And then I was the Senior Vice President for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and most recently, the Executive Director for Economic Development, Workforce Development at Oakland Community College. I'm retired, but still very active. I work with the OU Pontiac Initiative and the Greater Pontiac Community Coalition, and several other things, but those are the 2 pertinent ones. The other activities that I'm involved in, the most important one from my perspective is the Pontiac Transportation Museum, because it has the ability and potential to really rejuvenate, revigorate, transform the Pontiac economy. I really want to speak to just two aspects of it real quickly. The Pontiac Transportation Museum really speaks to the rich history that Pontiac has in the auto industry, and that history rivals that of Dearborn or Flint or even Detroit, but the story has been untold. And so this museum really, with over 70 vehicles in its possession now, can really tell the story of the auto industry. Much of its beginnings were right here in Pontiac and Oakland County, but that story, again, has gone pretty much untold. And the Pontiac Transportation Museum brings to life not just the collection of vehicles, but also the social equity and activism of both the companies and the unions during the last 40 years. And particularly today, I think that's most relevant in terms of telling the story. Huge potential for economic development for the PTM because it will provide an opportunity for tourism. That tourism really took a leap forward with the M1 concourse, but I think with the museum along with M1 concourse, it really puts Pontiac on the map again and can help with economic development. An even larger activity, though, that the museum is involved in is trying to bring together the collection of vehicles from around the state and the area. When I was at MADC and here at Oakland County, one of the frustrations I had was a visitor coming into Oakland County or into Detroit area couldn't easily identify the collection of vehicles the collections that exist all over the place. I mean, certainly Greenfield Village was easy to visit, but outside of that, there was no cooperation. The leadership at PTM has brought together statewide the collections that are sitting out there that now can be easily visited by a visitor or a resident who's currently here. The second aspect of it is that it isn't intended to be just a collection of vehicles. It's intended to be a training and education center. The PTM leadership has been working closely with Pontiac schools and other K-12 systems, Oakland University, OCC, to really be able to put together a curriculum that's exciting and interesting, that exposes people of all ages to the multitude of jobs that exist in the auto industry today, and then also provide a path to those jobs by working with the companies and working with Michigan Works. So with that, I hope you would look favorably upon this request.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Powell.
As the commissioner that governs the city of Pontiac, I physically went to go get a tour of this location, and I just want to tell my colleagues what was so amazing to me about it is that, yes, my father was a retired General Motors man, and he loved cars, and just to see the historicalness from cars from even years ago where they're the rail, I may be saying the wrong thing, but you know, with the hatchbacks and I don't know what the proper term is, but the cars from centuries ago, we have that. And for that historical data to still be here in our city and can be exposed to everyone in Oakland County, and all these cars were coming from everywhere across the state and from Oakland County, not just Pontiac. So that is why I'm a strong supporter of us helping to fund this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Long.
Yes, I just wanted to know what is the address of the museum? Where is it? 250 West Pike. Oh, it's on Pike Street. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
What was the, I'm sorry, just what was the name of the school that it's in now?
Oh, okay.
It was Crowford Elementary. Okay, it was the Crowford Elementary. Old Crowford, okay.
Oh. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Questions or comments? Seeing none, let's go ahead and prompt the vote. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Next up, we have our second public comment. Again, this is public comment just for the Finance Committee, and if you're here to comment to the full board, that'll be in just a few minutes. So is there anyone who wishes to make a public comment before the Finance Committee? Please state your name and your location.
Catherine Kennedy, Lake Orion. And I actually have a real concern about the entire way the board is operated. Finance committee should not have thousands of pages and only a little bit of it go to the full board. This is the actual budget. I literally had to walk around the building to find one. It shouldn't be that difficult. I know I have struggles that other people may not have post-stroke. However, this is public money that is being squandered and creating such a huge burden on all the citizens. And the wasteful spending that is the cause of inflation hurts the very poor the most. So it's very shameful that you put the blinders on and pretend it's not true and continue to waste money and spend money and tax higher to cover for the wasteful spending that's not justified in the first place. We're making the whole society very lazy, and this entire financial system that is being destroyed deliberately for political gain is going to be a problem for all of us. And the most serious thing is the fact we're allowing the illegal invasion into our county. We're giving jobs to those people. We're allowing them to have their crimes expunged in order to get jobs. This is not okay. This is not how the finances of Oakland County are known to the country to be responsibly managed, but based on what I've seen since April of 2021, everything I've seen is the opposite. It isn't inflation reducing when you spend more money. It doesn't help the citizens at all to have welfare programs where you're not teaching them to be self-sufficient. It doesn't help to give people a bunch of food baskets if they don't know how to grow it or prepare it. So we're making the entire society, the United States, is being dumbed down by, I believe, propaganda from outside our country, deliberately being aimed at our future generations through socialist maneuvers. And equitable is what they're calling it, but it's not equitable at all to rob people of everything they've worked for throughout their entire lives. Our democracy is at risk, that's true, but it's the actual opposite of what we're being told in the media. The most important thing I learned when I started a business from nothing. I had no money, I had nothing. I couldn't afford to go to college. I studied and took a test, but then I built it up myself. I did seminars in libraries for free because that was how I could afford to do it. Anything that's being marketed a lot right now, the online gambling, all the drugs, everything that's being marketed on the TVs right now is the opposite of what's best for the people of this country. If
Please
they
wrap it up,
are good,
Ms. Kennedy,
you don't
your
have
time
to
is up.
market it because people say, oh, go see that person. They're really good.
Thank you, Ms.
get
Kennedy.
referrals.
Your
Thank
time is
you.
up. Thank you. All right. Anybody else wish to address public comment at this time? For the Finance Committee.
Yeah, this is all about finance. Sandra Rahman, Clarkston, Michigan. The CS provides insight to the priorities of the Oakland County Executive Budget. Highlights provided indicate areas of further injury. We appreciate the level of effort. However, there are still a number of pending priorities. Proposed rates increase the Oakland County residents that need further public review. Highlight 1 in the cab. The general fund proposes spending of $515.8 million is roughly about 51% of the total budget for all funds for FY 2023 of $106.8 million. The remaining budget of all funds is almost as large as the general fund general purpose spend. Can the county executive share if there are any significant changes in the planned budget for these funds from prior year budgets? H2, ARP funds that may be allocated to Oakland County as with additional funds from the Inflation Reduction Act are significant amounts. Does the county executive have a view on how these funds, which are not provided as a part of this public cap review, may be spent. H3, where would the details of business forward investment of $15 million for small businesses be available to the CAB or RBB? This is a program being administered by the county or through the services of professional contractor. H5, H6, in terms of the spending priorities of the county executive proposes spending a total of $12 million on mental health services, $10 million in the communities, and $2 million in schools. In addition, on pages 540 of the RBB and Fund 21400, Housing Trust Fund, an additional $2 million per year is proposed for each of the next 3 years. And on 541 of the RBB for Fund 27196, Juvenile Justice Services. In addition, $750K per year is proposed for each of the next 3 years. These priorities in conflict with the priorities of benefit of border section and Oakland County residents. As an example, the enjoyment of Oakland County's parks and recreation is beneficial to all county residents. Can the county executive explain why, for admission to our parks, increasing the proposal budget? I'll finish the rest after.
Thank you very much.
Unbelievable.
Is there anybody else that wishes to address the Finance Committee at this time?
I'll pick up where Sandra left off.
Please identify yourself and the
Tasha
community
Shergan
you
from
come from.
Clarkston.
Please say it again.
Tasha Shergan from Clarkston. On page 571 of the RBB, Fund 50800, Parks and Rec, shows proposed increases in charges for services such as admission to parks of $866,000 for each of the next 3 years. In a similar manner, page 600 of the RBB, Water and Sewer Trust, shows proposed increases in charges for services of over $4.5 million per year for each of the next 3 years. With inflation impacting all Oakland County residents, shouldn't our priorities be to lessen the burden versus increasing water and sewer rates? Highlight 7. What investments are planned in the budget for the county executive to operationalize equity within Oakland County government? On page 532 of the RBB, the planned spend for Fund 27373, BJA Coronavirus, is 0. And on page 535 of the RBB, the planned spend for Fund 27197, Coronavirus Emergency Supplies, is 0. This makes sense as the federal government, CDC, and other agencies have stated the coronavirus is over. Can the county executive provide clarity on why on page 485 of the RBB, Fund 28630, COVID-19, is planned to spend $8.9 million for each of the next 3 years? This is a significant amount of money for a challenge that is waning, and these funds could be allocated for the benefit of Oakland County residents. On page 544 of the RBB, Fund 29252, Veteran Services Fund, has a plan to decrease expenditures from $772,000 in fiscal year 22 to only $127,000 for each of the next 3 years, a decrease of $645,000 each year. We need to continue to support our veterans with the services such as emergency shelter, contracted services, and transportation services, especially as they age. These men and women stepped up to serve, and we should not be excluding support for them as part of this budget. On page 613 of the RBB Capital Improvement Program, item number 5 under Building Projects is a newer program for $6.3 million for building security enhancements. Can the county executive share the details of this program and why it takes priority over the other proposed capital programs on page 614, such as the public safety capital programs? Oakland County residents would like to be supportive of initiatives such as the Emergency Operations Center, Sheriff's Office, Dispatch Center. On page 661 of the RBB, Professional Service Contract Summary, one of the contracts under Risk Management, CON 0000852, is for insurance brokerage services for $14 million, beginning on 7/1/2019. Can the county executive provide details of this contract and whether it is expected to continue at this cost level beyond the end of the contract on 6/30/22? Again, we appreciate the level of effort that's been invested in preparing this budget. However, there is still a number of spending priorities and proposed rate increases on Oakland County residents that need further public review. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes? Please don't applaud or make a scene in the auditorium. It's going to be a long day. Anybody else who wishes to address the Finance Committee at this time?
Well, good morning. My prayers go out to Florida right now, but I just want to address the World Economic Forum. You know, Klaus Schwab, he is worth more than 25 mil to 100 mil, according to this paper here. He also have, the World Economic Forum also has very high-profile companies that are part of the organization. They should be paying us, not Oakland County, to be part of WEF. When we have companies here in Michigan, such as the SME, Society of Manufacturing Engineers, that provide innovative training. We also have SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, that offer training. Michigan Manufacturing Technology Centers. We have community colleges that can help rebuild Michigan. So why is it that we have to pay $3 million to support WEF when we can support Michigan organizations? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the Finance Committee at this time? Seeing no one, I will close public comment. And if there's no other business before the Finance Committee, I will call this meeting adjourned at 9:57. Thank you, everyone.